Hey guys, this is Flo. This is just a short tutorial guide. I don't know how to basically use my Synty Hero plugin I wrote for Game Creator, and I just created a very basic scene. You can see that I placed the Synty character already here, and this is just a basic character with well, all its attachments. And yeah, you can see that I disabled some of them. It basically doesn't matter if you have them enabled or not, so it should be okay to just place the model here. And as you can see, I don't have any components on it. And what I will do is I just go here and add a new component. Oh, by the way, before we start with it, how to get this module. Basically, you can check in the link in the description, which leads you to my GitHub page, where you can see the repository for this module. And what you can do is you can just download the zip file, and you just unpack this plugin folder inside your assets folder. And in the end, it should basically, if you have Game Creator installed, it should show up here like Synty Hero module. So also here you see then Synty Hero module. I don't think you have to take care of these metadata. They shouldn't interfere, but I'm probably removing them from the repository anyways. Okay, so you just have to place it here, and basically after Unity is recompiling all the scripts, you should be good to go. So what I do here is I will just add a new component, and it is, well, the player character, just very basic here for Game Creator. And movement direction, let's see, what can I change? Input type, point and click. Okay, this is what I prefer. And I just give it also a player hook, because this is what these buttons here for in the UI are using. So I don't need to attach always the model to these actions. And then what I can do is let's see, Synty. Oh wait, SyntyCharacter. So you just type SyntyCharacter, and there's no icon, but you should be able to find it. You just click here, and what you can see here, that this is some custom editor I wrote, and you have this possibility to make this character savable and loadable. And let's go back to the scene. And so far, if I change any values here, you won't see any changes, because we need to set up the script in a way that it knows of all these attachments that are there. And for that, I created the load character button. So right now, this is more or less for debugging purposes. You see all these parents, like helmet, for example, which contains all these attachments you can show on your character. And you see we don't have a transform here. And I actually didn't want to drag and drop every single root here, so I just wrote this load character, created the load character button. And if you press the button, you can see that everything here is populated. And note that this here is pretty much hard-coded to how these elements are named. So if you would change the name from all 0 to hat attachment to, I don't know, my awesome project attachment, then this script won't find the element, and the transform here would be empty. So now that we did that, I wrote the script in a way that it's also executable in the editor. So I can just change here some values, and you see this small scar popping up. Let's make something more, yeah. So here you can just in the editor change the settings as you like. And I just made some grouping here. This is just like, okay, the main character, I would say. So just some visuals like eyebrows and, oh wait, sorry, this was too much. Eyebrows or any head attachments. And for the equipment, I just made it separately. So for the torso, you can just change the values here as you like. And yeah, so for the UI, I also implemented some actions, which actually helped me to make this work for the UI. So let's see where the camera is actually looking at. Where's the camera? Activate gizmos, then I can see it. Okay, let's just move the character a bit. Maybe here. Yeah, this is okay. Let's just turn him around, or her, doesn't matter. 180. And I just prepared this canvas here and some actions already, and I will just quickly go through them with you. So I have this button set male and set female, and what they do is, this is just a basic game creator button. So you have these actions here, and I have this action set character gender to male, and let's just delete that quickly so you can see how you can also find that. You see in the actions already this directory SyntyCharacter, and there you have, let's see, this is the attachment, randomize character, set the gender, and then I can say, okay, use the player, use the invoker, use a specific character, which has to have the SyntyCharacter component on it. Take a local variable, global list, whatever. So basically I always try to be very close to the original game creator implementations. So this should set the character to male, and I just made a drop down here. So this should be fine, this should also be fine. Let's quickly try it, just make sure, yeah, the hook is set. So I go to play mode. And here's the character, and it's currently female, so I set it to male. Yeah, you see the model was changing, and also back to female. So this is working, and okay, the animations are missing. Yeah, this is not because of the plugin, this is just because here in the player character I was not adding this character animator. But for this demonstration I don't worry about it. So another example would be, I just created a button which says set eyebrow next. So here also again game creator button with an action set eyebrow of player 2 next. So I just also quickly remove that and go back to SyntyCharacter, and how it's done is basically every element for these SyntyCharacters you can make active or inactive. I just named attachment. So basically whatever you want to change is an attachment, so you use that action. So you go here, I say, okay, it's the player, and I want to change the element eyebrow to first, last, random, next, previous, and index. How this is working basically is that when I scan basically the model for its parts, I just go in here and basically I'm creating some kind of an array for all these elements. So whenever you want to activate a specific eyebrow, for example, then you have to choose, do it by the ID. Let's see, where's the action? Here. So if I want to activate character eyebrow male 03, okay, this is a female currently, so it would basically use the female parts. Let's just quickly jump there. Okay, so if I want to activate female 3, then you have to be aware that this index is starting at 0. So basically, if I want to activate this one, then I would say index 0, index 2, 1, index 2, index 3, and yeah, just subtract 1, and you should be fine. So let's say here set eyebrow next, or let's try first with the index. So I want to say I want female 2. So I have to set the index 1 for this case, and let's hit play. I leave it open, so we should see that this one gets hidden and this one gets activated. So yeah, you don't see it on the model, but at least you see it here. But let's see the other options for what you have here. So this is for the index, you can set a specific one. First, obviously, would enable just the first. I shouldn't click always around here. This could be annoying. Let's lock that. Okay, so for the first, I would activate the first item, of course. For the last, obviously, the last one. Random, well, it will just randomly from this list pick one and activate it. And next, there's some internal counter, let's say, on which in the index you are currently. So we'll just jump to the next, and just leave it at next for this moment. And right now we have 4, and so I hit next, so we have the 5, hit next again, 6, hit next again, 7. And what I did is, if you're are at the end of this list, he will just jump back to the first one and then just continue with it. And the same goes, of course, for previous. So if you reach the first element again, he will jump to the last element, and so on. So this is quite cool, actually, for if you create some character editor, and also if you want to have some randomize option like you saw in this preview. This is quite cool because you can just say, okay, random, and that's it. One thing to note here, I did some adjustments on the elements here. I give you an example what I did. So usually here, facial hair. Usually this element here is not present. So this male 00 is not there, which means that all these models here, if I can just activate them. It's wrong thing. You can just activate it, and you see we have a beard. And because all of these options, of course, are beard models, you don't have an option for no beard at all. So you would need to implement or just place an empty game object, which the editor or this tool can then activate to just don't show any beard at all. So I did this for the facial hair. I had to do this also for hair if you want to have just a bold character, because you only have hair models, so you just have to place, it's an all gender part. Is it hair? No, wait. Here, hair. So you just have to place just an empty game object, give it any name. The naming is completely, you can completely ignore the naming, you can just call it like bald. The only important thing for the naming is that these parents are not changed. And yeah, let's see what I also have. I have some equip methods, but let's just quickly roll that character back. I just quickly go to reset, and of course I have to load the model again, or the character, because, no, wait. Okay, I did that. Okay, I wasn't sure if I did that already. No, I didn't. Okay, reset is not working. Great. I will look into it. But anyways, I also want to go make some walkthrough for developers, where I just go through the classes and just explain a bit how it was done, because this project is basically open source, and if you have some nice ideas and you can contribute to it, feel free to do it. And yeah, for the equipment, I'm using the inventory module from Game Creator. And here in these preferences, I have the inventory and I have my test armor. And what I did is, inside the onEquip method, I just say, okay, equip test armor on invoker. Let's see. Yeah, this is this equip method is basically from Game Creator, so any stat changes or whatever would apply. I'm not so familiar with Game Creator right now, but I think this is what you should do definitely when you equip an item, but it's not visible by just calling this method. So again, I'm just calling here a method which is called set torso of invoker to first, for example, because I want to have it the first element, or in this case, let's just say, okay, give it, take the third element in the torso list of the male or female parts, and make that visible. And here, let's see, SyntyCharacter set attachment. I can also say, okay, for the invoker, let's also say, okay, give him a helmet and give him the helmet on precision 3 as well. So this is my armor. And of course, you have to be aware that on the onEquip method, you should also implement that, like you did it on the onEquip method. So actually, your character is becoming naked again. So here I just say, okay, torso, take the first element, because this is pretty much naked. And also then for the helmet, I have to do it. So let's say, no, not player, invoker, helmet first. This should be fine. Okay, I close that one. And I'm just figuring out, I'm still in play mode, but let's see if it's working. And here I have an equip button. You can see here down there, and it's again some game creator button. And here first I'm adding the test armor to the inventory, because you have to have an item in the inventory before you can equip it. And then I'm just calling the equip test armor on the player method, and this is basically just invoking the on equip actions I have defined here. So there's no need actually to also write here some actions like, okay, set this element active or this element active. You can just keep it on the item itself in that case. Okay, let's see. Equip. Yeah, there's the item. Unequip, naked. Equip. So let's see. Okay, this is the helmet. Looks strange, but yeah, you basically get the message, I hope. And so let's see if I forgot any other actions. Randomize. Yeah, randomize. This is just some functionality I used, which is basically just randomizing like the hair, the head, the eyebrows, but not the armor itself. So for that you would need to extend this method, or just create your own method and just have a look at how I did it and make it that way. And yeah, here, set material color. This is also something, but I'm currently not happy how set material is working. Let's just quickly create it. I just make a new game creator UI button, and yeah, let's move it a bit down, and I just call it set color. And what should it do? SyntyCharacter change material color on player. And here I have the options like primary, secondary, leather primary, and so on and so on. And these values here come basically from the material you get from the Synty hero asset. Let's see materials here. So that's the fantasy hero, and here you can see already color primary, secondary, leather, and so for these colors I basically just created this drop down. So it's more easier to yeah, change the colors for specific elements. Set color, just changing the name here. And I want to change the primary color to some bright red, so it's very visible. Oh yeah, here the alpha value I have to pump up, I believe. Okay, let's see. Yeah, set color, now it's completely red. And how this is currently implemented is that I'm changing the color for for shared materials, basically. So usually when you change the color on a material in runtime, Unity would create a new material which exists only in memory during the runtime. And this is not very performant if you have a lot of models and new characters, especially if you have some kind of randomize function where you also change colors. For every color change, Unity would create a new material, and this is not effective. And so I'm using the function change shared material. So you can see that in Fantasy Hero, this is changing red. Basically what this means is if I would have multiple characters using the same material, all of them would change their primary color. So yeah, you just have to be aware of. I'm still trying to figure out a way that maybe when you change colors, he will initially create one single new material, and from that point on he's using the shared materials. I'm not sure how I'm going to implement that, but for my game right now it's not needed at this time, but when it comes to that point I will probably implement it in a better way. Let's quickly have a look at the loading and saving functionalities. So what you need to do is just to enable saving and loading, and this is also working basically for when you change the scenes. So it's basically behaving the same like the player character, where you have all these options like is controllable, can run, and whatnot. And yeah, it's loaded in the same way. So I'm still in play mode. Let's just go here. I hit save and I go to the bottom left. I hit load and okay, this is not working. Awesome. Yeah, I have to look into it, but yeah, you get my drift. So when I have a fix for that or found out what the issue is, I will just commit a fix for that. But yeah, this is basically how it's working. If you like it, yeah, you can download it. As I said in the description, there's the link to GitHub. You just download it, the zip file, unpack it, put it into your plugins folder, and then you are basically good to go. I hope I can help some people with character customizations, especially for Synty characters. And yeah, thanks, bye.